Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing Christmas films, one of my favorite subjects, obviously the hat and everything. I'm going to give you 5 kind of older vintage films, a few in the middle, and then a few that are out now and up and coming. First one we're going to talk about is Santa Claus the movie. Came out in 1985. This is fun for the whole family, really gives you all the feels. This is not the Santa Claus franchise that Tim Allen did. This came out before that, way before that, obviously. PG rating, it's only under 2 hours, but really fun actors and stars from that era. All right, the next one is Scrooge, came out in 1988. This one is starring Bill Murray, also has Karen Allen. She was in the films Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, as well as the Crystal Skull one that came out, was the latest addition to Indiana Jones. The director was Richard Donner, who did my favorite movie of all time, Goonies. Goonies Never Say Die. Can't go wrong with that. I was a big fan of all the kind of kid adventures, choose your own adventure type movies back then, and he always had a major part in big films. He also did the Lethal Weapon franchise, Superman 1 and 2, which came out in 78 and 80, not the new ones with Henry Cavill. Again, a whole lot of Christmas feels and fun. This one has a very similar description to The Tale of Old, except for it has kind of a modern day twist. Instead of being a selfish banker, this is about a cynical television executive. He still gets visited by the three spirits, a lot of great twists and turns. Next one's All I Want for Christmas. This one's a little cheesy. Definitely would be on Disney Plus if it had come out in today's era, but this came out in 1991. Is under Disney G rating, so again, the whole family can enjoy, even the young ones. An hour and a half long, so you're not jumping into something super lengthy. It has not a bunch of actors that are still around now doing big stuff, but it had Ethan Embry. He was in Empire Records and some other films and shows. You recognize him, and but he's quite young in this. The director, Robert Lieberman, he did a bunch of TV back in the 90s and 80s, but he did direct D3, The Mighty Ducks 3rd edition, which was, I was a fan of this when they were in college. A lot of fun. Like I said, I was a real fan of those kid franchises back then. The 4th one is going to be I'll Be Home for Christmas. Jonathan Taylor Thomas, JTT. This guy was huge back in the 90s. PG rating, under an hour and a half. Also has a young Jessica Biel in it. Can't go wrong with Jessica Biel. And this film's about a college student that is has kind of a wager with his dad to get home by Christmas, and his dad agrees to give him this classic car if he does make it. Of course, there's tons of obstacles. He's his girlfriend Jessica Biel. He's trying to impress, and there is, of course, a guy that's after his girlfriend and trying to ruin his trip back home. All right, and ho, 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 on to the next. The final of the 5 older ones is going to be Christmas at the Cranks. This came out in 2004. This does have Tim Allen, but this is not the Santa Claus franchise that he did 1, 2, and 3. This is another movie that I did during that time, that period, and he was really hitting his stride during then. PG rating, a little over an hour and a half. Had Tim Allen, Jamie Lee Curtis, love her, especially when she's doing her comedic roles. And then supporting character, Dan Aykroyd. I mean, you can't go wrong with Dan Aykroyd. If you don't know things that he's done, you might be living under a rock, but this guy's great in everything he touches, and this is no exception. Really enjoy the screenplay that's written by John Grisham and Chris Columbus. Chris Columbus is the director and helped direct and produce all the Home Alones, Harry Potter 1, 2, and 3, Jingle All the Way. He's also involved in the upcoming sequel to Gremlins, Gremlins 3. So keep an eye out for that. Pretty excited to see where that goes. All right, and next up we're going to do the newer films that are out. This one came out in 2015, so not super new, but not that old. The Night Before. Man, great cast. The lineup is absolutely hilarious. as well as some up-and-comers, which you wouldn't think so at the time. Like Anthony Mackie was doing some films, but he wasn't the superhero that he is today. But it also stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Seth Rogen, so just put that all together, and they are playing their parts as they, Hanukkah as well as Christmas, and they're long life friends that just get into all types of shenanigans on the night before Christmas, but also has a really heartwarming message and moral to it. This is an R rating, and the second one for the newer films came out about a year later, 2016. This is The Office Christmas Party. This one, I mean, it's Jason Bateman, and it kills TJ Miller. Again, he's not really supporting, they're just feeding off each other. Great comedy, dry humor, some of it, and then some raunchy partying going on. This one's an R rating, hour and 45 minutes. It was directed by Josh Gordon and Will Speck, and they were both involved in The Switch and Blades of Glory. And this is kind of about, Jennifer Aniston is in this movie as well, so there's even more of a plus, and she plays the uptight CEO's sister that is trying to get her hands on this branch of the company from her little brother TJ Miller, who is fun-loving, and she is just very kind of Grinch-esque. And they decide to throw this big party, and everything they think can go wrong goes wrong, but it is a lot of fun and a super fun ride. All right, and my third installment is going to be The Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2. Even though it's two separate movies, it is part of a two-part series, The Chronicles. It's on Netflix, PG rating, so again, the whole family can watch. This has Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn. I mean, what a match there. This movie's about an hour and 50 minutes. The director is Clay Kaytis. He did Angry Birds, as well as involved is Chris Columbus, and we went over that earlier of all the films that Chris Columbus is involved in. A ton of old great classics, but new and upcoming fun stuff as well. So if you like that, this is a story about kind of just the essence of Christmas and family that's down on its luck and lost their father passed away, and then kind of branches out into a second part to where Christmas is getting stolen again by evil disgruntled elf, and there are just tons of things that wreak havoc upon trying to create the perfect Christmas. You can watch this on Netflix, both films on Netflix. And the fourth one's going to be 8-Bit Christmas. This is a new one that came out that I really enjoyed, and it has Steve Zahn, Neil Patrick Harris, and new and upcoming actor Winslow Fegley, I believe. PG rating, hour and a half, and this is about a kid in the 80s in Chicago who was trying to get the ultimate gift in the 80s, which was the Nintendo gaming system, and back then it was the 8-bit gaming system is what it was called. And it's similar to A Christmas Story, where he's trying to get the BB gun and no, you shoot your eye out, kid. Similar with this, as they think the Nintendo rots your brain, and so they're trying to keep their kid and the kids in the neighborhood from getting one, and it's all out war against kids and parents to try and obtain the infamous Nintendo. All right, the fifth one that I have for the new ones that just recently came out on Netflix is A Boy Called Christmas. This is a PG rating, and this film is directed by Gil Kanan, involved in such projects as the newer Poltergeist, City of Embers, and Monster House, the animation film. Really good. And this story is about the origin story of Father Christmas, Saint Nick himself, and he's as a child, and kind of how it came to be and what he did to create the Christmas that we know. You can watch this on Netflix. And here's the list of some films that are honorable mentions, at least. Some old, some new, some that you've heard of, some that you haven't, and that's kind of what my lists are going to entail, are not just the ones, your basics, that you hear all the time, like Elf and all of those huge Christmas films, but just some other ones that you haven't seen that you can watch with the family and enjoy. There's Deck the Halls on HBO Max. There is Ernest Saves Christmas, and that's on IMDb TV. Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, love it. The Family Stone, heartfelt, really fun message in there. Family stuff that is a little bit more adult driven, so I'm not necessarily sure it'd be great for the kids because they might not get some of the jokes or some of the humor that's going on there. Surviving Christmas on AMC Plus. Four Christmases, that's on HBO Max. And some of the newer ones for honorable mention is going to be Noel, that's on Disney Plus. There is also Klaus, which is on Netflix. That's animation, fun movie to watch. There is Black Friday. You can rent that on Prime for $6.99. That one's a little more expensive because that one just came out, but it's zombies and Christmas and all, and the shopping that goes on Friday. Craziness. There is Love Hard. That's I watched that last night, so I could give somewhat of a calculated review or suggest. It's a Hallmark film. Jingle Jangle on Netflix, really great. Kind of a musical, kind of not, but definitely worth a watch. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.